Nine Who Care, a TV9 Show You Care special honoring outstanding volunteers, is brought to you by Hardee's, St. Luke's Hospital, United States Cellular, and Alliant Energy.
Hello, I'm TV9's Liz Mathis. Thank you for joining us. I want to introduce you to some of the most caring people in eastern Iowa. Every year, TV9 and our Show You Care sponsors honor 9 outstanding volunteers. These volunteers are chosen from dozens of nominations received from you, our viewers. We salute the 9 winners at a special awards banquet and give each of our 9 Who Care recipients a trophy and $500 for their favorite charity. Over the past 6 years, we've honored more than 100 volunteers through the 9 Who Care program, and more than $45,000 has been donated to charities across eastern Iowa. We begin with a student mentor, a Meals on Wheels volunteer, and a hospice worker. They're all outstanding volunteers, but they touch lives in very different ways. For 30 years, Jim Beck devoted his life to working at Rockwell Collins and raising his family. Now that he's retired and the children are grown, Jim devotes most of his time to something else, volunteering. TV9's Renee Chu introduces us to a man who touches the lives of the young and the elderly.
Hi, Felicia. How are you doing?
Good. The way Jim Beck works with students at St. Joseph's School in Marion is like reading a really good book. It grabs your undivided attention.
Include?
Include cats, dogs.
It opens your mind to new things.
Warm-blooded.
That's like you and me, you know, warm-blooded.
And when you're done, it leaves you and Jim with a warm feeling inside.
Well, there's some inner thing, I guess, that makes it really a joy to me to be able to work with the kids.
54.
All right.
Not just on their reading, but also math. Jim chose St. Joseph's because that's where his 5 children went to school. Now he's made learning fun for almost 400 children in the 4 years he's been volunteering. It's clear his congenial nature and contagious laughter have a multiplying effect.
He cares about us, and he always likes to know what we're doing.
And the kids certainly relate to Jim in the way he helps them move forward to the next chapter in their lives. In Marion, Renee Chu, KCRG, TV9 News.
Jim says he does plan to do what many retirees do, and that's vacation. When his wife retires in February, the two plan to visit their 5 children who live in different cities all across the country. Neither rain nor snow nor even icy roads will keep Ernie Courtney from making his volunteer deliveries. In parts of southeast Lynn County, he's a familiar figure on the road. Courtney delivers meals to shut-ins. And TV9's Dave Fransman introduces us to a 9 Who Care volunteer who's putting his time in later in life.
Ernie Courtney looks right at home in the kitchen. Maybe that's because he comes to the senior dining site in Lisbon 5 days a week. It's his job to load up the meals for another dining site in Springville and then hit the back roads for his home deliveries. Ernie retired 10 years ago, and when he was working full-time, he didn't have the time for a lot of volunteering. But someone asked him to fill in on one of the Meals on Wheels routes. He liked it.
Well, it's like another job. You just don't get paid for it, but it's the idea is so you can come to these different homes, and there's a lot of them depend upon you every day.
Good morning.
And because people depend on him, Ernie's hardly ever missed a day or a delivery.
Well, how are you
His
doing
job
this
involves
weekend?
more than just delivering food. He may be the only person some of the elderly shut-ins see every day. If something's wrong, he's often the first to know.
I can't tell you how important someone is like Ernie, who basically says, this is so important that it's a job for me. I'm going to take care of it all the time. He's 1 in a million.
Dave Fransman, KCRG, TV9 News.
Ernie Courtney also works with his wife on the Share Iowa program that distributes surplus food to needy families in eastern Iowa. Well, cancer is something that touches all of our lives, and the last few days for a cancer patient can be the most difficult. TV9's Craig Brown introduces us to a man on a mission for hospice.
So what do you do with the Boy Scouts? I'm just not there.
In 1979, a Waterloo Center for Cancer Patients was merely a dream, until a man with a lot of heart named Steve Jordan spearheaded a task force to build it. Jordan describes the hospice home as a place for cancer patients and their families to peacefully live out their final days.
We can roll the bed right out into our gardens, and we're going to have gardens that have very, very private spaces that you can go out and take a walk through and take a journey, if you will.
But the journey to build the facility hit a snag when the executive director suffered a brain aneurysm. And according to volunteers, the project would have fallen apart if not for Steve Jordan's selfless dedication.
Without Steve as part of that process daily, it wouldn't have happened.
So when the director became ill, he picked up the reins.
Well, Steve's one of those individuals that not only is one that's willing to give his time, but he's passionate about it. It's hard to find the two combinations of someone that'll go out and give his time and effort, but also believe it's the right thing to do.
Thanks, Steve Jordan, for being one who cares.
Steve's company, Jordan Electric, did all the wiring for the hospice home at cost. The Cedar Valley Hospice Home welcomed their first patients to the facility just this week. Well, coming up on this Show You Care special, a high school student who loves to spend time with the elderly, a Marion couple who care enough to help refugees adapt to Iowa, and a community leader who's learned to corral rubber ducks. These award-winning volunteers help those who can't help themselves in very unique ways. Stay with us. The next 9 Who Care Award winner may surprise you. Kevin McCauley is a high school senior, and he's been a volunteer for more than 6 years. TV9's Jenna Miller reports this 18-year-old plans to continue volunteering for at least 60 more.
Hey, Helen. Hi. Well, this is a surprise.
I just feel that everybody, in a sense, should find some kind of happiness. And to me, I really enjoy doing service.
Kevin McCauley stops in at Northbrook Manor Care Center about 2 times a week, just to spend some time.
It makes them know that actually other people do care, because I absolutely just love the residents here. I think of them, the people that I visit, as family.
Some would just feel so bored if they came in to talk, and he acts like that he really was enjoying the visit as well as I enjoy it.
Yes.
But Kevin is not acting. The irony is, he says he's getting more out of the experience than he's giving.
If I'm having a really off day, I'll just stop by after school and everything, and just saying hi to each resident here, it puts a huge smile on their face, and that just makes me feel so good.
It's so much different than when I went to school.
Kevin started a visiting program where other students stop in and spend time with residents. But he didn't stop there. Kevin is also a member of Students Against Drunk Driving, the liturgy team. He takes part in the March of Dimes Walk America, assisting the elderly, and food drives.
He is very, very special, very, very special. And he's always got a smile with him, and he nearly always has some very nice-looking girls with him, too.
When he graduates from high school, Kevin plans to attend Iowa State University to study graphic design and advertising. And of course, his plans include volunteering. The Kosovo conflict tore apart many Muslim families. Some of the refugees headed to Iowa. Dana and David Medine of Marion wanted to help. And what started as a church sermon is now their global commitment.
Hello, got any minutes, Dana?
This hallway has become familiar to Dana Medine.
Hi, Idaver.
It's the apartment of Idaver and Ganamet Ayupi and their 3 children.
Different, yeah. Here many different live in my country, in Kosovo.
The Ayupis came to the U.S. last summer after ethnic conflict forced them from their home in Kosovo. The Medine's minister gave a sermon about helping the refugees who might come here. Their minister said it was important for Christians to show Muslims there can be peaceful coexistence.
To show them that Christians aren't mean, bad people trying to rape and kill them and burn down their houses.
The Medines became the Ayupi sponsor family, helping them settle in, close the language barrier, and give them the support where needed.
We are grateful for this family, Medine's family, for help and for hospitality.
The Ayupis needed food, clothing, everything to set up housekeeping. This is when the Medines say David's employer, the Crystal Group, their church and friends came through.
Because of the number of people that were coming, without that help, we would have collapsed.
The Medines have high hopes for Idaver and Ganamet, who now hold housekeeping jobs. But Dana would like to see Idabert get his biology degree. He was just a few college credits away when the Kosovo conflict broke out. The Medines say the money they'll receive from the Nine Who Care Award is helping to pay for the AUP's monthly rent. Now, if you go to most charity events in Cedar Rapids, the chances are good you might bump into Ralph Palmer. In addition to running his business, RJ Building Products, Ralph gives every available minute to the community, and especially to one annual event in the community. TV9's Bruce Owney explains that's why Ralph Palmer is one of our Nine Who Care.
For 10 years, a special race has taken place on the Cedar River in Cedar Rapids. Thousands of rubber ducks ride the current, each representing someone's $5 donation to the St. Luke's Hospital Child Protection Center. And Ralph Palmer helped start it all.
The recollection that I have when that surfaced was a duck race, because I think we were all mallards and river, and that seemed to be what it was. Then we found out it was rubber ducks. Wasn't any better, because we figured out how are we going to keep track of these, how are we going to get them in the river, and then maybe more importantly, how are we going to get those suckers out of the river? That was a problem. So we got past all of those, though.
And boy, did they. Over 10 years, the duck races have raised well over $300,000 for the Child Protection Center. Its director, Sue Tesdall, nominated Ralph for Nine Who Care. Although the center is part of St. Luke's Hospital, Sue says it partners with law enforcement and the State Department of Human Services for a 50-county area.
The purpose is to provide medical exams and interviews for children who are the suspected victims of child abuse. About 95% of the kids who come to the center, there's a suspicion that they've been sexually abused.
Ralph held another personal fundraiser this last fall. He pitched horseshoes for 24 hours straight, and the pledges that he collected totaled more than $16,000. Half went to the Child Protection Center, the other half went to Camp Courageous. Still to come, the next Nine Who Care Award winners you're about to meet spend countless hours volunteering at the VA hospital in Iowa City, the Northwest Tama County Food Pantry, and the Camp Courageous garage sale. These three women gain their greatest joy by giving of themselves. We'll show you how they do it right after this. Volunteers go that extra mile to make someone else's life a little better. Opal Primrose has gone 100 extra miles every week since World War II. Every Wednesday, Opal drives from her home in Van Horn to the VA hospital in Iowa City. TV9's Iowa City reporter Mike Wagner tells us the 84-year-old woman has helped everyone from veterans to foster children.
The squeaky wheels on Opal Primrose's welcome cart let veterans know hospitality is just around the corner.
And I got couple new magazines in.
Great.
I just got those out of the cart. Is that enough?
Yeah, that'll last me a long time.
That'll last you a long time.
Besides books and newspapers,
Wouldn't you rather have a larger one?
she hands out welcome kits that include toiletries, lap blankets, and other items.
Now you take that with you then.
All right.
All right. You're welcome, sir.
Opal started roaming the halls at the VA Medical Center in 1958.
Well, I started in the first place because my husband had been a patient here once upon a time. That's before we had insurance and we were starting to farm.
During her more than 40 years of service, Opal has given veterans more than 8,000 volunteer hours. It's hard work that pays off every time Opal visits a veteran.
And then some of them will say, well, how much can I pay you?
But it's a service and sense of compassion that's priceless. From the Iowa City Newsroom, Mike Wagner, KCRG TV9 News.
The VA welcome work keeps Opal busy on Wednesdays. The rest of her time is devoted to fundraisers for her church and community. She also opens her home to foster children. Pat Rins was nominated for the Nine Who Care program by the Gladbrook Community Women's Club. There are many organizations on Pat's volunteer rap sheet. TV9's Joe Coffey gives us a glimpse into Pat's life.
And spaghetti sauce.
If there were 25 hours in a day, Pat Rins would see the extra hour as another opportunity to help others. For 16 years, Pat has been chairperson of the Northwest Tama County Food Pantry. Pat's first volunteer experience came more than 30 years ago when she helped educate and care for migrant children.
The migrant children were working in the fields while their parents were working picking asparagus, and it just seemed wrong to see these little children following their parents in the fields or staying at home with an older child in their little cabins.
Next, Pat started delivering library books and medicine to senior citizens. Before long, she was giving elderly shut-ins rides to get medical care.
Pat's one of the most caring people I know. She's always concerned if someone does not have enough for a nice Christmas or a family meal. She's just concerned about everyone.
I asked Pat why she volunteers so much.
You know, we have two hands, one for yourself to help yourself and the other to help someone else.
In Gladbrook, Joe Coffey, KCRG TV9 News.
Pat Rins also teaches children how to sew quilts. It's part of a Safe House program for kids whose parents are working or gone after school. A simple garage sale has become a major fundraiser for Camp Courageous. The camp helps mentally and physically challenged children and adults in eastern Iowa. And one of our 9 Who Care winners helps the garage sale grow every year. TV9's James Clark takes us inside the Manchester garage sale to meet Jackie Snyder.
We cleared the place out from this hall.
It looks more like a store than a garage sale, but Jackie Snyder remembers a time when the Camp Courageous garage sale was literally in someone's garage.
And then we'd have to move again.
It bounced from place to place.
Look for a place, move in, and get volunteers to help.
The garage sale did not start in Manchester. It started here. Back in 1974, Camp Courageous was $20,000 in debt. So Tate Cummins and a business partner organized what was, at that time, the world's largest garage sale at Hawkeye Downs. The garage sale moved to Manchester, but moving around is all in the past. 5 years ago, someone donated a permanent place.
I've always thought that Jackie was a perfect fit for the 9 Who Care Award, but she's always been real hesitant anytime I brought it up. So since she runs our largest fundraiser, if she says no, that's what we go with.
But it just kind of mushroomed, and every year I was here.
If it hadn't have mushroomed,
the camp wouldn't be near what it is today.
And that's why Jackie Snyder is one of our 9 Who Care. James Clark, KCRG TV9 News.
The Camp Courageous garage sale looks a little lonely right now because it's closed for the winter. It will reopen in May. Well, we'll be back with more, so don't go away. Now that you've met our 9 Who Care, we hope you find the time to show you care. All it takes is a little time to be as giving as Jim Beck, Ernie Courtney, Steve Jordan, Kevin McCauley, Dana and David Medine, Ralph Palmer, Opal Primrose, Pat Rins, and Jackie Snyder. If you or someone you know is an outstanding volunteer, please nominate that person for our next 9 Who Care recognition in January of 2001. I'm Liz Mathis. Thanks for joining us.
9 Who Care, a TV9 Show You Care special honoring outstanding volunteers, has been brought to you by Hardee's, St. Luke's Hospital, United States Cellular, and Alliant Energy.